When the man of experience meets the man with money, the man with the money becomes the man with experience, and the man with experience becomes the man with the money. Hello, all. This is Lawrence again with another brief video on things concerning the day and age that we're in. I was on YouTube taking a look at some videos, and I made some comments to someone that had a video that was talking about whether or not you're saved. So I got in a little bit of a conversation with him, and of course, religion's kind of a hot topic, and I could see myself easily getting sucked into an argument with him. And so rather than do that, I just rather educate anyone that's willing to push the button and say, I want to be educated. Push the button, and you could take or leave any kind of information on the internet. It's a very safe environment to look at stuff and say yes or no to concepts. So doing this video, I'm going to go ahead and do something I don't like to do very often, but I'm going to do it just because it just seems like maybe it'll work a little bit better to help people to wake up to what's going on around them. So I'm going to hit a sensitive topic for the religious, and that's your giving to your church. And so I think it's kind of ironic that, and I heard this the other day, that Jesus saw a need of the people. So he took his own bread and he put 2 loaves in this bread basket and some fish, or it's three loaves, 2 fish, as far as I recall. So he goes ahead and puts it in the basket, and then more bread shows up, more bread shows up, more bread shows up, right? Now we got a very similar thing that goes on in the church, except it's the reverse. We put our bread into the church basket. And it's usually after we just heard a sermon about how God doesn't need our money. Very interesting little paradigm there. And I would submit to you that it's an indication of the age that we're in, which is a very dualistic age. So if you ever wondered why you try to do the right thing, you try to hang out with the right people, and it looks right, and then it becomes wrong. And it looks right, it becomes wrong. Right, wrong, right, wrong. That's because we're in a very dualistic age where there's only one rule to the age, is that it has to be good, bad. So if you were to see someone that was 100% perfect at doing everything right and being a good person and perfection, that would actually go against the one rule of the age, which everyone is following. So, for instance, you are told that if you have any issues, please come talk to me. And the person seems very reasonable. So you have an issue, you go to talk to that person, and they kind of blow off what you're saying, and they move on to something else. Or you go to get something resolved, and it ends up in your face that you somehow did something wrong to deserve that thing. Well, that's not necessarily because it's your problem or you've done something wrong, as much as there's only one rule to the age, is it has to be good, bad. So it's good that you get to go talk to that person for advice, but it's going to end up bad because that's the rule of the age. Does that make sense? So I'm sharing some concepts with this guy on YouTube. And I say X, Y, and Z, and that we'll leave that for later, what the concept is. And he sends back a response, and then I send back a response trying to further enlighten him to what I'm thinking. And he sends back a response. This loving Christian man says, since that is so far out there, in other words, I'm a fool for thinking that, or I'm crazy because it's out there. It's not. It has nothing to do with reality. I'm going to leave it the way it is, blah, 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 which is he's trying to be humble. But at the same time, he doesn't realize how demeaning that is to say to someone, you're out there. You're out to lunch, buddy. And the problem is he has to stick to a particular set of standards in his church. So if you're pray Jesus into your heart, if that's your doctrine, then if someone says you got to be baptized, you're going to think they're a moron, and vice versa. We got to baptize people. You're a moron for thinking it's just as easy to pray Jesus into your heart, right? That's the thing. It's made to make a good thing, which is benevolent religion, bad. So we'll be fighting each other. So we'll create even more churches. So we'll create more churches. Division, division, division. So that's the purpose of that whole let's go back and forth about things. It's made to divide. So religion, which really should be able to have the power to unite people, does the exact opposite. And it has to by nature, because that is the age that we live in. Some guy thinks that I'm out there for thinking what I think, but at the same time, he believes in the Bible, which states that God prefers meat over wheat, and he's willing to kick someone out of his favor because of it. That he wants to see if you would kill your child if put to the test. He also sent a donkey to minister to someone. So the donkey's speaking English, or actually whatever language it was done in Hebrew or whatever to this person. He's speaking, this donkey. And that Jesus, when he's done with his disciples, flies up into the air, or whatever ascend means. He turned into smoke and disappeared. But what I'm telling him is out there. One of us is brainwashed. Which one is it? I mean, something's going on here, guys. I'm not saying the Bible's not true. That's not the point. The point is, we are doing things, everything we do seems to be backwards. We faithfully trust our government. We give them our taxes. They set a budget. They don't make budget. They ask for a new set of taxes. They reset the budget. They get the money from us. They don't make the budget. They overspend. They borrow money. The government just is not getting it together. Same thing at your church. You have an issue. You try to resolve the issue. It gets worse and worse and worse. It's not because your minister is evil. It's not because you're stupid and you can't figure it out. It's because the minister is following the rules of the age. He's intentionally telling you one thing and doing another, and he's not being evil by doing it, because there's one rule you never knew about that he's following that was set up a long time ago, is that it has to be good, bad. If for some reason you're not running into these problems, it's because you're going with the flow. They ask for money, you give them money. They ask you to show up, you show up. Right? You're doing exactly what they want. Either that or you're insensitive about it. You don't care either way. And that's fine. Now, the good news is, if you're someone that someone gives money at church, you've proven yourself, and you've proven to God that you will not put anything before him, so you give the money. But now that you know the concept of what I'm saying, ask yourself, does God need your money? Well, he needs it to evangelize. Okay, so how much does it cost for someone to speak to another human being? Right? Doesn't cost anything. Well, how much does it cost to baptize someone, put them in the water? Costs zero money. It costs the amount of money to fill up the tub or fill up the source of water, and the money that it takes to drive someone to get it done. Same thing. How much money does it take to say a prayer with someone to save them, right? It doesn't take any money at all. So what is the money being spent on? It's being spent on the clergy. It's being spent on the building. It's being spent on things that are nice to have, perhaps, but they're not necessary. So you're taking 10% of your income, and you're giving it to church because the Bible told you to. So congratulations, you're faithful to God. But now I'm asking you, what is the Bible saying about itself that you're not understanding. It's trying to tell you something. It's yelling one thing in your face. That's what you're responding to. But it's whispering something underneath. What is it that the Bible's trying to tell you? I respect the Bible. I believe it was made by someone much more intelligent than I am. Probably who we would call God. The next question is, who is God? If you take a look at the sixth word in the first page of the Bible, which is Genesis, the first chapter, in the beginning was God. Translated as Elohim, which is plural. The singular word for Elohim is Aloha or Aloha. Aloha. So, what's going on? What is going on? When Moses calls himself the most humble man that ever lived, what's going on? When an angel tells you to kill your child and stops you before you do it, what's going on? What is going on? That's what's going on. It has to be good, bad, bad, good, bad, bad, good. We're in the age of dualism, and it's not an accident. And the good news is you don't need to be in this virtual reality if you don't want to. Of course, one way or another, you're going to be affected by it, but you could take breaks from it. You could step back. When you're watching TV, and it's good that we're fighting against ISIS because ISIS is out to get us. But it's bad because people are dying as they're fighting ISIS. It's good, bad. Right? Because we're in the age of dualism. It's the only rule there really is to the age of dualism. There's people winning above you because you are losing. If you don't lose, they can't win. If you don't put your money in, they can't live off your money. Right? If you don't play the game, they can't argue with you. I want to have a religious argument with you. Okay, hold on your hats. Who knows more scripture than the other guy? It's totally false that you can't pray Jesus into your heart. It's totally false that baptism, what are you saying? You got to do something to be saved? And the people above you that are running the show are looking at you like you still don't get it, do you? You don't get the parable. Life is a parable itself, and that's, God's very straightforward. He said that. Then why do you talk in parables? God is not straightforward. He's running you through the ringer. See if you're going to give up. He say, if you'll figure it out. Have you solved the puzzle yet? Have you figured it out? So anyway, that was on my mind. I thought I would go ahead and produce a little video. It takes about 10 minutes of my time. So hopefully you found that enlightening. If not, it had nothing to do with trying to offend you. It's trying to get you to think and wake up and understand that life is a game. Learn it and you'll save yourself from a whole lot of misery. Till next time, this is Lawrence. Bye.